Adventure Buddies, welcome back to this week's video.
In this week's video, we're going to talk about our first itinerary on the Mediterranean cruise we just went on, and we're going to start off with Palermo, Sicily, and then heading over to Malta and Gozo. Cue that intro.
What's up YouTube? Trevi from the Adventure Buddies, the modern travel family, bringing you another video filled with tips, tricks, and inspiration to make sure you maximize your next family adventure, like we always do here at the Adventure Buddies.
So starting off in Palermo, Sicily, this was actually our one and only excursion that we did through the cruise line due to the COVID restrictions in the Sicilian government. So if you want to know more about why we encourage you to do private tours over the cruise line's excursions, click the link above here for that video. So hopping in there, we took a 2.5-hour bus ride.
It was so long.
Yes, 2.5 hours. We left the city of Palermo and headed to the Temple Valley, where we got to see some really cool ruins, but again, was so far away from the actual city of Palermo.
Once we got there, we spent an hour and a half exploring 8 different cool temples. Check it out.
So some of the temples that we saw were the Temple of Hercules, the Temple of Concord, and the Temple of Zeus, which, if finished, would have been the largest temple in ancient history. So, hour and a half exploring the different temples was a bit long for us, was a bit tiring because it was hot, but it was pretty cool to see some of the history in those ancient ruins.
After exploring the temples, we headed over to a small little restaurant that we tried our very first own cannoli.
What'd you think of it?
It was not that bad.
Not that bad. Here we go. So to be completely frank, Palermo was probably our least favorite stop on the 9-day itinerary because we spent more time in the bus than we did actually exploring. So let's fast forward and hop to the next day where we got to go to Malta and Gozo.
So finally our ship landed in Malta, but since it was Easter, the Pope decided to visit Malta, so that means we couldn't explore Malta. So we had to head over to Gozo Island.
So as Gianna mentioned, we headed over to Gozo. We took a small speedboat over there and were met with our private excursion where we were able to hop in a convertible Jeep to explore the entire city of Gozo.
So here on our Jeep tour, we got to explore the whole island from coast to coast and learn about a lot of their history. One thing we learned is how they make salt. They make salt by getting salt pans and bringing all the salt from the ocean into it. Kinda cool. Check it out.
So stemming off the salt pans, the coastline here was incredible in Gozo. So we thoroughly enjoyed going coast to coast, exploring the little towns that occupied each of these small beach areas that offer some great cafes and lunch spots to enjoy the beautiful scenery. Speaking of beautiful scenery, if you're a fan of Monte Cristo, this is actually the location at the Blue Lagoon that they filmed this movie. Check it out. Because this was a private tour that we mentioned in the beginning, we were tight on time. So if you're not sure what I'm saying, this was actually one of the downfalls of doing a private tour. Check the link above when we recommend to doing private versus cruise line tours, because we were running short on time and didn't want to miss the boat because that would have been a disaster. So we made it to the ship with 2 minutes to spare. Check it out. All right, guys. We got 2 minutes to get onto the cruise ship before it leaves without us. Let's go! Story of our vacation. We're running more of this thing.
And there you guys have it, our trip to Malta and Gozo.
And if you like this video, please consider giving us that big thumbs up. Subscribe down below for more travel tips and adventures. And if you've ever been to Malta, tell us what we missed out on with the Pope being there. And so, I'm Matt from the Adventure Buddies.
I'm Gianna.
And remember, life's an adventure.
Who you going on it with?